It started as it so often did, with a blink, a flash, and then the impossible. 1 minute, the sky above Metropolis was stretched in serene blue over skyscrapers and bustling streets. The next, it was a checkerboard in purple and orange, with gravity swirling like a carnival ride. The air shimmered, and from thin air, and possibly from even thinner logic, there appeared a man, or something resembling one. Mister Mxyzptlk. There was no warning, only spectacle. The people below began to float, objects in their hands turning into rubber chickens and bouquets of balloon animals. The city was under siege not by brute force, not by invading armies, but by the whim of a fifth-dimensional imp whose imagination was his deadliest weapon. Superman was already in the sky. To him, the world reversed itself twice before he steadied his sight. Focused on the familiar floating figure in his purple suit and his mischievous smile. It was, of course, Mister Mxyzptlk. The imp greeted him with a flourish, bowing deeply mid-air, somehow both mocking and gracious. Superman. Back for another round of the Mxyzptlk games, are you? He called out, words echoing neon, distorting to chime and harmonize in the wind. Superman absorbed the situation quickly. With Mxyzptlk, it always came down to one rule. The imp could only be banished if he willingly spoke more reliably, spelled his own name backwards. And every time, the imp's tricks grew more convoluted. What began as citywide pranks soon could spiral to alternate realities, shifting the earth itself to the rhythm of his chaos. Mxyzptlk snapped his fingers. Below, Metropolis twisted, its buildings stretching like rubber, vehicles turning into fish and swimming mid-air. Superman knew brute force wouldn't work. The fifth-dimensional magic was untouchable. Not heat vision, not freezing breath, not the mightiest punch could faze Mxyzptlk. Instead, Superman drifted closer, calm voice unwavering. This isn't a game, Mxyzptlk. You're scaring people. Scaring? I'm entertaining. Come on, Big Blue. Take a day off. Tss, responded, now juggling planets the size of apples. Let's see what you've got. You know the score? Outsmart me, or I'll turn Lois Lane into a singing carrot. The stakes were never small. Superman had seen it before, a slip of logic, a missed detail, and reality would dissolve at Mxyzptlk's whim. He tried reason, tried appeals. Why target Metropolis? Why target me? The imp grinned, eyes glowing with boundless delight. Oh, for the challenge, to best the best. You meal like cat and mouse, but with more explosions and existential dread. He flicked a hand, and instantly Superman's cape was 1,000 fluttering origami birds. Superman, unflappable, shifted tactics. He needed to engage, not resist, but redirect. Mxyzptlk thrived on attention but hated to lose, hated to be bored. Mold Man's mind raced. If he could create a trap of logic or a contest with stakes that favored him, he could trick Mxyzptlk into saying his own name backwards. So he floated up, arms folded, as a sudden smirk crossed his face. You know, I always wondered, with all that power, couldn't you do something impressive, not just transform things? Something that requires actual finesse? That caught Mxyzptlk's attention. He narrowed his eyes, affronted. Impressive? You dare doubt the master of the fifth dimension? Superman shrugged, feigning boredom. Anyone can turn a skyscraper into Swiss cheese. But, say, could you build a Rubik's Cube, with every side a different prime number, and solve it, without magic, backwards? Mxyzptlk hesitated. The imp's pride was boundless, his competitive streak impossible to resist. A challenge. Fine, Superman. Watch and learn. He conjured a cosmic cube, numbers swirling, patterns impossible to decipher. Now what was that? You said solve it? Backwards? Superman asked, casual, hiding the hook in his words. Mxyzptlk, with flourish exceeding sense, spun the cube in midair, chanting, backwards straw cab. Numbers zipped and flew. And Mxyzptlk, caught up in the moment, started to spell his name, KLTPX, and the magic began to subvert him. Wait, that's not recognizing the trick too late. He spun around in frustration, muttering, Kletzixum. The instant the last letter left his lips, the world snapped back to normal. Gravity restored. Colors fading, buildings solid, people once again grounded and safe. Mxyzptlk hovered, disgruntled, as a glowing portal tore open behind him. Spoil sport, next time, Superman, you'll see. And with a final wink and a bow, he was yanked into the fifth-dimensional void, banished, as the rules demanded, for a minimum of 90 days. In the sudden quiet, Superman drifted above the city, surveying the restored skyline, a city saved, not by force, but by the endless chess game he played with the unreasonable. As he descended to the daily planet, the world behind him spinning on in anxious peace, he knew it was only a matter of time before Mxyzptlk returned, reality bent to his whim once more. But for now, at least, logic had prevailed, Superman's greatest weapon, when might alone was never enough.